stagger mechanic. I like a lot of the stagger mechanics in Resident Evil games. You know, Resident Evil is very popular for when you hit people and they get stagger. You know, they immediately, you hit a zombie, you know, it's coming at you and you're like, oh no, I gotta be careful. This guy is gonna come at me and he's gonna like stagger me and I'm gonna die. I gotta get, I gotta like get hit. I'm gonna get bitten, and that shit just kind of sucks, right? Because in Resident Evil games, when you got an enemy just coming at you, you want to like shoot them, and the zombies is like coming at you, and it immediately kind of stops you from, you know, going anywhere, because it will shoot you, and the zombie just continues walking forward until it goes and does that thing, right? And when it does that thing, you shouldn't want more, and it goes down and it dies, right? It's pretty, and it's dead. Pretty cool mechanic. And since Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, they all have a similar mechanic in the PS1 games where you have to shoot them at least 1, 2, or 3 times for the most part, you know? Because of that, it kind of allows you to, I don't know, resource management. One of the big part about like Resident Evil is that it's a survival horror. Now, I had a script and I wrote this and I'm like, maybe me trying to write something is just not a good idea because I don't know how to write anything. So this is completely off script and everything and whatever is gonna go, right? So I love Resident Evil. I love playing the game notoriously non-stop because first of all, it's one of the most fun survival horrors that you can play. It just mastered the whole thing. But I'm here to defend Resident Evil 4 Remake and its Stagger mechanic because I feel like 90% of people just don't like it.
And this is the part where I tell you that I played this game on hardcore mode for my first playthrough. And let me just tell you, I was absolutely baited. No, hardcore is not fucking balanced. And not because it's too hard. Honestly, the level of challenge is fine. What isn't fine is enemies are fucking bullet sponges. They changed how stunning enemies works. In the original, you could stun any basic Ganado with the weakest handgun shot in the game, including one bullet from the TMP.
However, in the remake, getting a chance to use this all-important move isn't guaranteed. Originally, the stagger effect would happen every time you wanted it to. It was an endlessly reliable cause and effect. But now, there's a chance the knife-wielding maniac bearing down on you won't react at all to your carefully placed shot. I've heard the argument that this randomness adds a fun unpredictability to encounters, and I might agree with that if the rule was consistent. But on hardcore, and especially professional, you can literally shoot a villager in the face enough times to outright kill them before they stumble once. That's ridiculous.
Oh. Now, there are elements of combat where I am more mixed on, the main element being the inconsistency of staggers in regards to head and knee shots. In the original, these were always consistent. You knew with certain enemy types that a head or knee shot would always stagger and you could plan accordingly in the moment. This could help with crowd control. There was no ambiguity. That's not the case here. Sometimes shot will stagger, sometimes they don't. I'd be surprised at points when a shot would kill an enemy when I thought it would take a bit more. This inconsistency was present in the prior two remakes, and for that slower pace and what they were going for, it worked. Here, I'm not sure it was the right choice. This led to a few cases of taking damage where I didn't think I should have. Holding down while aiming for a few moments will increase the accuracy and chance of a critical hit.
Like, I'm kind of confused, right? So, we have, for example, Resident Evil 1 Remake, Resident Evil 1, the PS1 games, and when you shoot enemies, they're kind of like going forward at you because, of course, they're zombies, they're bioweapons. They're not supposed to feel any pain, but you have the Ganados, right? You play Resident Evil 4. We're in the village, right? We're here, and when you shoot somebody, they say "Detrás de ti, imbécil," right? And you go at them, and then whoosh, one shot in the head, guarantee, and you just fucking kick them. I can't kick them. I don't know how to kick. right? So you kick them immediately, and it's guaranteed all the time. That's in Resident Evil 4. But in Remake, they changed it. They changed Resident Evil Remake. You know what they did? You gotta shoot them once. Oh no, you gotta shoot them twice. Oh no, they shoot them 3, and then they kind of like stagger. And then you shoot them again, and then they finally stagger. At least in hardcore difficulty or in professional difficulty. In professional difficulty, it's kind of wild, right? Because in professional difficulty, you had to shoot them 1, 2, 3, 4. You're dead. You didn't do stagger. What the fuck happened there? So the thing is that the way that Resident Evil 4 works is that you have what you call a damage-based stagger. So if your weapon does more damage, you will stagger them. There's no problem doing that. In Resident Evil 4, what they did on Resident Evil 4 is they changed the stagger mechanic. But the thing is that they literally never changed the mechanic. Or at least the way that I believe that the mechanic works is that it's now a more faithful survival horror compared to your other Resident Evil games. Okay? Well, faithful for the most part. Okay. Let me expand what I'm saying. Alright, let me expand what I'm saying. You see, there's supposed to be a screen here. So, in the old Resident Evil games, when you shoot a zombie, you know, they're coming at you, and you gotta shoot them at least 3 times until they get staggered. If you shoot them again, then they're gonna get knocked down, right? And that's how it was in a lot of the PS1 Resident Evil games, because they were completely bioweapons resistant fucking creature. But in Resident Evil 4, there was this whole mystery. You didn't know that you were dealing with bioweapons. You're not sure if you're dealing with zombies. In fact, one of the first lines that Leon says is like, "Whoa, it's not a zombie." Which makes Leon look fucking crazy, because he just go into a village and the first thing he does is just kill somebody. Not even trying to talk in Spanish, but he still kind of like, the whole idea is that you kind of didn't know if these were zombies, because Shinji Mikami was really trying so far to just get the fuck out of the survival horror. You know, that's how it was. It ended up being like a completely different game, different camera, different way of shooting somebody. But the mechanic of the game is that when you shoot somebody in the face, you always had a stagger mechanic, and you just boom, you fucking kick them. Right? That's how it was. That's how they did it on the original Resident Evil 4. The thing about it is that when you go on repeat playthrough, even despite the game being absolutely fun, it kind of becomes a really easy way of getting rid of enemies, right? The thing about that you have always a guaranteed stagger, it means that you trying to save ammo became such an easy thing. For example, it's very normal to have at least 3 stack of handgun ammo, right? And then you got like 2 stack of shotgun ammo, and you have almost, when you go to the castle or something like that, if you're playing very well, you're always gonna have a lost stack of ammo. Even before coming onto this place, right? You can get a bunch of ammo, a grenade, at least 1 full stack of box of ammo, a grenade, and be completely fine, because killing enemies in Resident Evil 4 is actually not bad. You know, they come at you, they gonna stop, and then they're gonna attack, because of how the mechanic of the game. You know, it's a well-balanced game, it's a fun game. But the thing is that it became super repetitive for that reason, right? So one of the things that I actually decided to do is that I wanted to do a little bit of an experiment, right? So what I decided to do is I decided to start both games at the same time. And I wanted to see how much ammo and resources I was gonna have if I play completely optimally in both versions. I both use professional. And what I found out that was really interesting, being in this place after all, and doing like I was saying, is that before I even got into the village, before I even got to do all the explosion shit around here behind me, I found that I already had 2 boxes of ammo, almost 1 full box of shotgun ammo, one frag grenade, one incendiary ammo, and I ended up with having so much ammo by the end of it. What I ended up doing is that I did the village part, I did all of that till chapter 2.1 and finished chapter 2.1. And I wanted to see how much I was gonna have by the end of both chapter if I play as much optimally I know how to play them, right? And when you see the comparison on how I play both chapter Resident Evil Remake and Resident Evil 4, you're gonna see that the difference is huge. Huge. Fucking huge. And here's an interesting thing, right? I think a lot of people don't realize this, but all the enemy values for both professional and standard difficulty, the health value is the same across the board. Enemies don't have more health than they have on standard difficulty. What they change is the stagger animation. Because of that because of the stagger values and the way that how the game works, it means that you got two options. You either have to waste more ammo into shooting them to take them down, or shoot them more to do your melee attack, or run. So the thing about it is that in professional mode, the only difference that there is that they're way more resistance to damage compared to playing on standard difficulty, which sometimes they have some resistance later on in the game. At the start of the game, it requires you to at least shoot 3 or 4 times to put them down. And that will make you think, oh, I got to use more ammo. I have to either use more ammo, more resources, or I have to use other means to dispose of them a lot more quickly. And the thing about it, one of the fun thing about Resident Evil 4 Remake is that I try to use the environment a lot more than I did when I was playing Resident Evil 4. You know, trying to use tripwires on enemies. I barely get an opportunity to do that in the original game. I can think of my hand. Before Del Lago, there's like a couple opportunities there where you can use the tripwires on enemies. While in Resident Evil 4 Remake, there's way more opportunities to use them. And a great thing is that now you can also use bear traps on enemies. So even me using a bunch of different ways of like using bear traps, using the tripwires, using the knife, lots of different ways to dispose of an enemy way faster, and optimally, I am still have way less ammo compared to Resident Evil 4 Remake, where I can I barely use pistol ammo, some sniper ammo, and the knife. And that kind of changed the whole dynamic on how you have to approach Resident Evil 4 Remake, thus really emphasizing the survival horror aspect of Resident Evil games. So one of the great things about Resident Evil 4 is that Resident Evil 2 already have breakable knives, right? And it's just an iteration from Resident Evil Remake where it had knives that you can just, waste on enemies so that way you can defend yourself. It's just a thing that they brought back from Resident Evil Remake to Resident Evil 2 Remake and now Resident Evil 4 Remake. It's all one after another having that cool mechanic that Resident Evil had for a long time, which is a defensive mechanic. But you know what this also reminds me of? Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. Snake Eater, one of the great things about Snake Eater is that almost everything consumes something. There's nothing that you can do in Metal Gear Solid that you cannot do that will consume something. Your stamina goes down, your life goes down, your silencer goes down, everything goes down because everything has a battery. Everything in the game kind of deteriorates because of the survival aspect of Metal Gear Solid 3. It means that now one of the main problems of Metal Gear Solid games in 2 was that you can kind of reliably knock everybody down with almost no penalty, right? Of course, the penalty was ammo, but you can get ammo everywhere. But you know what you cannot get in Metal Gear all the time reliably? Silencers. So they balance the game. If you play the game on a stream mode or European stream mode, one of the bigger thing about Metal Gear Solid 3 is that when you shoot people with the silencer, that meter will go down super quickly. So even if you have a lot of ammo, you need to choose when to use the suppressor, because if you're absolutely abusing your silencer to knock everybody out, it means that eventually you're gonna run out of suppression for when you really need it. And that's a great balancing mechanic that they did for Metal Gear Solid 3, which involves you trying to use other items and other ways to get past the enemy or get rid of them. There's multiple ways of getting rid of enemies without shooting them or knocking them down. You know, you can set traps and you can deal with them using animals or using other stuff, because it allows you to have this player freedom stuff that becomes so synonymous with Snake Eater. Such a fun game because of that. So in Resident Evil 4 Remake, the knife has a meter. So it means that not only your knife is a meter, your ammo is a meter, and your health is a meter. And you got this triangle that just worked perfectly. Now, how am I going back with stagger mechanic? Well, if you use the bolt meter, the bolt thrower, look at the Under the Mayo video. He's a wild guy. He has some weird opinions, but his bolt thrower video was actually great because I actually did not experiment with the bolt thrower. Do you know that it? Come here, get closer. If you shoot people on the head, they will almost always, with the bolt thrower, turn around.
The larger target will make sure that slow traveling bolts always hit. And you may be noticing these body shots are stunning, the headshot causing a stagger, but a bolt shot stagger actually causes them to turn around instead of stumbling forward, meaning you can get a knife kill from the back. Not only is this a fast kill option, but stabbing enemies prevents plaga from hatching, meaning you can reduce the plaga in large fights.
You know what that means, right? It means that you can stab them, which means you can save ammo and get your bolt back. You know what that means? Survival horror, baby. That's what I'm talking about. It means strategy. It means like allowing you to do multiple stuff into one enemy, and it allows you to strategize, and that's great. That's oh, I love Resident Evil 4 Remake. Like, I'm tired of people. I don't know. I'm tired of hearing people criticizing how the game mechanics of like it's not like Resident Evil 4. Then play Resident Evil 4. Look, it's right here. Here's normally where Sattler is. You know, this is more like an alien invasion to me. Yeah, I love the stagger mechanic in Resident Evil 4. I'm gonna fucking defend it all the way through because I love that one of the big aspects of Resident Evil 4 Remake is that because of the stagger mechanic, it balanced everything else. Okay, so we have the stagger mechanics. You shoot them a couple times, but it costs more ammo. Using the bolt thrower will allow you to save ammo, but you need to actually get ammo. You need to upgrade the bolt, because when you shoot them in the head, you're allowed to they do a different stagger animation that rarely happens when you shoot them in the head. It also means that you can stab them. Oh, if you cannot shoot them in the head, you can shoot them in the knee. And normally that also allows you to stab them or shoot them in the head, go behind them, and then stab them. And that allows you to save ammo. What I'm talking about is that because of how the new stagger mechanic is, and giving you a lot of this new mechanics that are in the Resident Evil 4 Remake, it means that now you have other means of saving ammo. The thing is, you know what is the biggest revelation that I had when I was playing Resident Evil 4 Remake? I was playing, I played the game, I got 120 hours on it now, and I'm doing a run where I'm trying to get all my upgrades for my weapons. And you know what's crazy about it? Is that despite me having my weapons upgraded fully, and I'm playing on hardcore mode, I am still always low on ammo. Like, holy fucking shit. And I know how to save ammo. I know all the cool tricks. And, you know, if I show you how much ammo I got, you're like, oh shit, you got a lot of ammo. But I'm still not packing 3 boxes of ammo. I'm not packing a whole line of handgun like in the original game. That is still so hard to achieve. It's really hard to achieve in this game because of how the stagger mechanic works, and I'm gonna completely defend that. And if you're looking at this t-shirt, this is Tire Squeater. Go follow her on Twitter, on Twitch. She's cute. When you play Resident Evil 2, right? One of the first things that you get to realize is that enemies take a lot of ammo. And that was one of the complaints that a lot of people had with Resident Evil 2 Remake, and almost not that much with Resident Evil 3 Remake. So in Resident Evil 2 Remake, when you play that game, a lot of the enemies are very, very unreliable because it feels like trying to kill them is a complete RNG. So one of the best strategies that get to build upon with Resident Evil 2 Remake is shooting them in the leg and moving on. And that still emphasizes how much of the stagger mechanics in Resident Evil games really matter. And you can almost do that with Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 1 Remake, Resident Evil 3, and all the PS1 era games. Now, I know that criticizing Resident Evil 4 is just a thing that it's fine to do. You can criticize Resident Evil 4 all you want. It's just that I kind of get frustrated because I do see a lot of the new changes in Resident Evil 4 Remake as a complete, positive. It's a thing that kind of like makes the game so rich and fun to play because it allows you to kind of have like multiple multiple ways of like dealing enemies, and the idea that you gotta choose between wasting ammo or using your knife or going past them, because that's still viable. You can still run past enemies. You can kind of do that even after you go after the village, run past everything. There's different ways of like baiting people into wires so that way they explode, and it frustrates me because I hear people, it's like, wow, this is bullshit that you can like shoot people in the head and just 5 times and they're still walking. It's like, dude, they're emphasizing that you're fighting a bioweapon. It's a bioweapon. It's a zombie. It's a fucking giant salamander. You're dealing with fucking unnatural creatures that if you shoot them in the head, they shouldn't fucking be like, cabrón, ¿qué cojones? ¿Por qué se me diste, hijo de puta? ¿Qué te hice yo, cabrón? Yo no te hice nada porque me estás dando con el tiro en la cabeza. No, this is fucking zombies. They're like, cabrón, me voy a matar. Detrás de ti, imbécil. ¡Ay! Busco el pedazo. That kind of stuff. Just fucking enemies, I don't know. I got a little frustrated about it, but yeah. Don't got much. That's all I wanted to say. I think the game balances very well. I'm gonna defend professional mode. I saw like somebody else saying, "Do not do professional mode. This game is bullshit." It's like, it's not. It's just a skill issue. It's a skill issue. I know it's hard. It's a hard mode, but it's not Village of Shadow. Try Village of Shadow and then tell me if professional mode was actually hard. Okay. Anyways, that's it. That's all I've got to say. My name is Uni. I stream. I play video games. Follow me on Patreon. Subscribe. Want to see more content? Maybe I do more stuff like this. Who knows? I stream. See you later. I love you. Mwah. See ya. Bye.